My name is Ron Gerber. I prepared this short video to tell you a little bit about myself, why I'm running for the board, and to ask for your vote. So 3 things about me. First, my wife Andrea and I have lived in Roslyn for 15 years. She's been actively involved in the PFA. We currently have 3 kids in the school district, so we have a vested interest in ensuring that Roslyn schools are not only just amongst the best in New York State, but also, quite honestly, in the United States. I graduated from Princeton and Harvard Business School. I've got very strong financial skills. I think that's relevant because in the end, every director must recognize his or her fiduciary responsibilities to ensure that your taxes are correctly spent. Professionally, I run Angel Beat. Angel Beat, before COVID, used to run technology seminars in 60 cities across North America. And much like Roslyn Schools, last March, we had to stop all of our live events, immediately adopt online training, and now we're adopting a hybrid learning approach, very similar to Roslyn Schools. I've done that successfully, and I think it'll give me, or I can leverage that experience to provide guidance and oversight to the Roslyn Schools. On a related note, just a couple of days ago, I ran an Angel Beat virtual seminar with Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, where they spoke about technology innovations that are here to stay in K-12 and higher education. I think having someone like me on the board who's got the technology contacts and the tech savvy experience will prove very beneficial in the future. Those, I think, give you a good understanding of my qualifications. I then want to share with you, based on factual information on how the current Board of Education operates, give you 3 instances of some of the areas that I would seek to change in how the board operates. Let's start with some data on how long members of the current board have served. The majority of them, the vast majority of them, have all been on the board in excess of 10 years. Now, of course, it's admirable the amount of time they've invested in the school district. The downside, though, is you lose a fresh perspective. You're not building the next generation of directors. That's why I believe that there should be term limits. I think that each board member should serve only 6 years or 2 terms, which, by the way, is more than enough time to understand how the district is operating at a board level perspective, implement and influence major positive change, and then also pave the way for the next generation. If you look at this data, that is clearly not a priority for the current board. I would seek to change that. If you attended the April 20th meeting, you would have heard the Roslyn Board of Education state that they are once again suspending public participation in their board meetings. That has gone on for the last year. That's in contrast with many other school districts that have adopted public meetings despite COVID. Now, a lot of those meetings were loud, raucous, there's lots of disagreements, and I think that's perfectly fine. Everyone's got strong feelings about their kids' education before COVID, and especially after COVID, they've only gotten more involved. But I think it was healthier for those school districts because the community was able to come together. They could disagree without being disagreeable. They could achieve a plan that has buy-in from the community. And when I look at how the current board has operated, which is suspending public participation, they do not place the same emphasis that I would on open and transparent communications on all matters with the residents. This is a second area where I would seek to change how the current board operates. A third area concerns financial oversight. On every other board that I've served on, nonprofits, charities, educational groups, country clubs, house of worship, there is always a detailed review of actual versus budget spending every month. And that information is always made available to every member who wants to see it. As best as I can tell, that level of granular oversight is not happening, and tying back to my second point, that information is not being communicated to the residents. If you look at how much we spend in taxes, it's almost the same as if I was going to buy a new car or remodel my kitchen or some other major expenditure. I sure as heck would want to know where that money is spent. So I would actively support much tighter financial oversight, much more frequent reporting, and also have that reporting communicated to all the residents. Again, based on the actions of the board, what they're communicating currently, that is not an approach that they follow. A third area that I would seek to change. Here's a headline from a recent New York Times article talking about the elite universities welcoming a more diverse freshman class. And the flip side of this headline is that it's harder and harder, and there are going to be fewer and fewer Roslyn students attending these elite universities. It's just the law of numbers. I think the world of education has fundamentally changed given COVID and given technology. It's not immediately clear that every kid should go to college. Maybe they should take a gap year, if not two. Maybe they don't want to go back. Maybe students will take advantage of customized and personalized digital education that many employers offer and enter the workforce at a younger age. It's unclear what the future will hold, but I think my experience, my willingness to commit to positive change and to influence some specific areas where I think the Board of Education can change its current policies will serve me well, are reasons why you should vote for me. I will be holding an open town hall in early to mid-May. I welcome any of your feedback. Plus, here's my email and phone number. Please call me with any of your thoughts. Again, I appreciate your listening to this hopefully relatively short video, and I ask for your vote at the election in May.